Hey guys, welcome to the show. Welcome to the very first solo episode. So, I thought maybe I would share my trip to Skepticon, which is a conference down in Missouri, Springfield, Missouri. It was my first time down there, my first time to the conference, and don't really go to very many conferences, to be honest. So, let me see here. So here's the story. I got on the plane and I landed in Atlanta, and it was for my first visit to Atlanta, and the airport there has like this little subway system in it, which is pretty fucking cool in my opinion. So I took the subway, but my connecting flight was so close. Things were so tight that I didn't really have enough time to explore any more than that. Contrary to other people, I kind of really dig airports. I like the vibe. I like looking around at the various stores, etc. So anyway, I got on the smaller flight to Springfield, Missouri, where Skepticon was taking place. And got off the plane. The flight was pretty uneventful. And there I was in a small, empty airport. It was late at night. Well, I guess it was around 10. And the place was empty. There was no restaurants. I didn't get a chance to have any food in Atlanta. Things were too tight. So I get out and I try to figure out how to get the shuttle bus to the hotel. But that just doesn't work out. I'm kind of tired. There are no phones that I can just pick up to get to the shuttle or the taxis or something. So I don't really know what to do. I'm kind of new with the traveling thing. So I get outside and I swear, it looks like I saw at least one taxi that was a pickup truck. It seemed that way. And anyway, so I get a taxi. Everything seems pretty cool. And then the taxi driver, this guy, he has the thickest accent in the world. I mean, which is to be expected. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But up until this point, I hadn't really noticed much of an accent. This guy had very thick accent. And he tells me, he says, well, now you can take a deep breath because I'm taking you to a better place. I kid you not. This is what he said. The first thing that came out of his mouth was that. And I said, what do you mean? And he says, oh, because you're going to go to the hotel. And I'm like, okay, all right. And then he says, oh, I'm going to take you on a shortcut. So he drives towards the back of the airport and he brings us onto this 2-lane highway, this road, with absolutely no lights whatsoever on either side. We're the only ones there. It's pitch dark, and I'm starting to think about his first thing he says again. And so he starts talking to me about the usual. I ask him, how long you been working here? How long have you been in Springfield? And he said, I lived with my mom here, but then I moved out and I came back again. And he said I had to come back for my mom. He said he used to work in security. And he said that it's a very boring work in security. And as he was walking along one evening, looking after some sort of factory or something, he's just walking along, and he says that he told me that his flashlight banged against a pipe, and he said, and it made such an amazing noise that I couldn't help it. I just took my flashlight out, and I just banged that pipe. I just smashed that pipe over and over again. Clang, 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 clang. And as he was doing this, he actually took his hand off the wheel and he was motioning with it up and down. And this is coming after the "I'm taking you to the better place" thing. We're on a completely dark highway. There's no lights anywhere. There's no people anywhere. And I'm thinking, okay, either this is legit and I'm gonna die, or maybe he's just trying to freak me out, right? Freak out the Montrealer who's never been to, Springfield, this small town. Anyway, these thoughts are going through my mind, and he goes on. He talks about how his partner gets killed. He says, "Oh yeah, and I had to stop doing the security thing because my partner got killed." Yeah, he got shot, and I thought at first that there was sweat on my forehead, but it turned out to be my partner's blood. I swear, it wasn't even Halloween. So I'm like, holy fuck, get me out of here. And so he drops me off at the hotel. Thank goodness for that. And I'm like, okay, well, see you later. He's like, I'll see you later. And then I get to the hotel. It's pitch dark, late at night, so I don't really, know anybody there. And I get into my room, and I swear the room smells just like the taxi. So this is freaking me out even more. I'm just like, okay, what the fuck is going on? Okay, whatever. So then I turn on the TV. I need some relaxation. I turn on the TV, and I find 3 outdoor hunting channels, and on one of those channels there's this like little girl, and she's talking about how she is going to go out and kill the buck with her dad, etc. And so for this pinko liberal Montrealer, I'm like, holy shit. And I turn the channel and I find 5 evangelical Christian channels. I don't know what the rest of it was, the rest of those channels. Anyhow, so I have a terrible cold, and I wasn't able to bring my meds with me on the plane. So I get out. I gotta go, right? I gotta get out. So I go, and I'm looking around. First thing I need is dinner. I go to the Applebee's. There's an Applebee's just nearby. And I order the burger and the fries. They're kind of mediocre, but it's late, so I'm assuming that this stuff could have been sitting around for a while. I'm there, and then it comes time to pay. And the waitress has been asking me repeatedly if I'm okay during the night. So obviously I must have been tired. I was definitely sick. I might have been still a little emotionally shaken from my taxi ride. So I'm like, I'm fine. I'm okay. Time to pay. So I get up, and I realize that I've got a very limited amount of American cash. And in Canada, I use my debit card to pay. I try the debit card. So I'm like, here's a debit card. She takes it from me, and as I'm walking towards her, I want to go, because I think that in Montreal, maybe physical boundaries are a little not as broad as they are in Missouri. Maybe that's it, because as I was approaching her to use the password thing on the ATM, the portable device, she actually backed up, and she looked like concerned, like I was going to murder her or something. I swear I shaved. Like I can't imagine I look that dangerous, but anyhow, I can sort of understand. I'm kind of a big guy, right? So she wants to take the card from me, but I'm ready to go put it into the card reader, because that's what we do in Montreal typically. And then I type in my code, but it doesn't seem to be the case where she was. She ran it. It said that the number was bad, so I'm guessing that maybe there must be some sort of miscommunication between the banks. She's already concerned that I'm going to kill her because, I walked within 5 feet of her, and the boundaries are in Montreal seem to be shorter than they are down there. People stand their guard down there, stay far away. So great. So I pay cash. I leave the concerned waitress at Applebee's. We never meet again. I go and I'm like, okay, I still have this terrible cold. I need to go to Walmart. So luckily there's a Walmart nearby. I get into the Walmart. It's America, so it's open 24 hours, unlike Canada. I get in there and I find some cold meds, and there's this guy, this large, bearded man, and he's staring at me. And he's like, I kid you not, I think he's making like little duck lip motions towards me, sort of like staring me down, like, I don't know, that I mean, I don't know why, but he seemed maybe interested. I mean, I usually don't think too highly of myself. I don't think that everyone's after me or anything, but it was a little weird. Okay, so I'm at the cold medicine aisle. I pick up some Robitussin DM there, and a whole whack of cough drops. Go back to the till. I'm at the till. I ask the woman, where's the bottled water? Because the hotel room has a limited amount of water. I have a cold. I need water. So I don't consider myself a diva or anything, but I need the water. So she's like, bottled water. Oh, I'm not really sure. I guess check the fridges. You'll have to check maybe every fridge. So I'm walking along from fridge to fridge, looking for the bottled water. The last fridge, I find it next to the Mountain Dew there, the energy drink Mountain Dew, whatever it is. I buy all 3 bottles of bottled water. I'm absolutely positive there must have been water at the Walmart. I don't know. Maybe I fell into the twilight zone that night. I'm really not trying to diss Springfield. I'm just sharing my experience. Okay, so I'm at the till. I try my bank card again. It's another fail. I realize I'm rapidly running out of cash. I pay for my junk there. I go back to the hotel, right? And then essentially I'm thinking about the bearded guy, and I'm like, okay, what kind of place am I in here, So I go and I look at, I start up my internet, and by the way, the Wi-Fi is perfect in this place. No complaints about that. And I go to Craigslist, and I'm like, okay, tell me what have I gotten myself into here? A good gauge for what you've gotten yourself into in any city is you take a look at the Craigslist in the casual encounter section, and you just see what's down, like what's going on in this place. So I look it up, and I find like some pretty crazy shit there. But what I do find is I find that there's actually someone at the convention itself who's like, hey, I'll be in town. I'm 6 foot something. Why don't you come over and have a good time? A nice fancy hotel, etc., etc. And that's fine. I mean, I'm not. I'm good, very resourceful. I have no problem with that. I was just kind of curious for the rest of the conference, thinking about who could be. I mean, as far as I know, it wasn't me. So it must have been someone else, and I just wondering who there it could have been. It was always a thought that going through my mind. Anyway, that was night number 1. The day after, This is where everything picks up after that. I got my cold meds, right? I woke up the next morning. I had my breakfast, continental breakfast, and I started going to some of the sessions there. Fantastic. The people at Skepticon, great. Well organized. Fantastic sessions about a lot of social justice stuff, a lot of stuff about, I went to the session about abortion. I went to the session about the grist guy, GM food session. I went to that. I went to the session about, just all kinds of sessions. I'm going to have to fill you guys in on all the sessions. Unfortunately, I don't have the list right now of all the ones that I attended, but highly recommend it. I went back out into Springfield during the day, not at night. Fantastic place. Everybody's super nice. Everybody at the hotel was super nice. That weekend also, I happened to meet some very cool people who were working with the Bernie Sanders campaign, and they invited me over to the debate watching party in downtown Springfield. Super awesome. Awesome people. Everybody really friendly. So I just want to balance that off and say that although the first night was definitely memorable, creepy, in a sense, I cherish the memory because it life is all about stories, I think. Your memories are important. So that was gift number 1, was the insanity of the first night. Gift number 2, definitely the amazing, amazing people at Springfield. The day before the last day I was there, I actually went out for a walk. I walked down the street. I just kept walking, and I walked all the way to Popeye's Chicken, and I had my Popeye's Chicken, and I spoke to the people at the CVS, and I spoke to the people near the ice cream factory there on the way. I think it's Kearney Road or something. I was walking down there. All great people. Very friendly. Awesome. So cash. Yeah, there's another thing that I forgot to mention about my trip. So as I said before, I was kind of running low on actual bills, and it seems like people use bills an awful lot down there. Here in Montreal, we use plastic pretty much all the time. I guess it's all part of the big socialist conspiracy or something. Anyhow, so I check my phone, and sure enough, there's a bank pretty close to the hotel. So I reach the bank, and I get to the front door, and I'm expecting to see, an ATM, but there isn't one. So what there is on the door is a prominent sign telling me I'm not supposed to bring my gun into the bank, which seemed pretty self-explanatory, a little evident to me. Anyway, I guess they need that there anyway, because in Canada, we don't really carry guns around that much. So I kind of wondered how many people at the Popeyes or even at the convention were actually packing. Like, is it a really common thing in Missouri? I have no idea. Anyway, so back to the story. I'm at the bank. I walk in, and there are tellers there, which is odd, I guess, for me, because a lot of the banks I go to these days they're just ATMs. And they look at me, and this is the day after my adventure, by the way, with Walmart. And they say, "Can I help you?" And I'm like, well, I'd like to get some money, please. I need to use an ATM. And they said, "Oh, there's one outside, just over there." I said, okay. So I walk out and I walk to the back of the building and I walk around the building and I look at all the walls and I can't find an ATM. And a woman actually, one of the ones who worked there, she opens up the door and she said, no, you have to use that over there. And I look and there's actually a bank machine in the parking lot. And it's like a drive-through. It's like I don't think I've ever seen that before. It's like if I wanted to order some chips or some, a burger or something, I would drive through a Wendy's or something. Well, if I want to get money, I don't even need to get out of my car. I can just park and use the ATM. So it felt kind of the same as if I walked up to, let's say, a Tim Hortons drive-through or something. It's the same. It felt the same as if I walked up to the window, because I was actually standing in the street and I was using this ATM on the street, more or less. And I was kind of afraid that maybe a car would just come and then would I have to move? I don't know. I mean, I guess not. It just felt kind of odd. So, yeah, I took the money out. It's all good. It's all good. I'm just not used to, I guess I'm just not well-traveled or something. I'm just used to the way things are here in Canada, in Montreal in particular. After I figured that one out, though, I had a steady cash supply, and that really did help me out a lot. Things got better after that. And I had a good time in Springfield and met a lot of people. And I'll definitely be back next year, that's for sure. So that was kind of like my personal voyage to Skepticon. And I actually promised to do some volunteering as well. So that's gonna be kind of cool. And yeah, and I got to see Fallon Fox too. She is amazing, and I got to talk to her a bit before she left for the airport. And I kind of missed out on a lot of the controversy. Unfortunately, I guess coming from Canada, I kind of missed some of that Mizzou stuff going on. I wasn't at that session either. I think I might have been wandering around town at that point. But yeah, great convention.
Thank you for listening to my Secret Atheist podcast. Intro music is The Gods Have Thirst by Les Sans-Culottes. Outro music is Black Elk Mountain by Twizzle. Bye for now.